Hey everybody, I've got a fun one for you tonight. Earlier in the day, I had a really interesting conversation on LinkedIn with Nick Desbarats. And if you're not familiar with Nick, he is the author of Practical Charts, which is far and away my favorite kind of workhorse data visualization book. It really talks about kind of how to choose the proper chart, how to format it, how to make your charts clear and attractive. And it's just a great book. And so one of the things he was talking about in the article was why he hasn't created a special version adapted for Power BI. And part of the reason is that he feels, and I agree with him, that the Power BI native visuals are really quite limited and just can't do a lot of the things that he would require them to do to capture the charts that he recommends in his book. And so, I wrote and I said I really enjoyed the post, but that you can, without going to custom visuals, do all the visuals in his books in native Power BI. And you can do that through the R Python integration, and specifically with ggplot2, which is the kind of the flagship package within R for data visualization. And so Nick came back and said, okay, I accept that point, but ggplot2 is quite complex, and I really wouldn't expect that most Power BI users would know how to use it, or if they learned, it would take a long time to get up to speed. And at that point, I kind of want to stop and say, hold my beer, because I think that argument was very true not long ago. But as I do frequently these days, let's jump into Claude 3.7, and let's see how Claude handles this, because I think you'll be surprised at what it can do. And so, what I did is I went through Nick's book, and I tried to find a visual that you absolutely could not create natively in Power BI. And so on page 106, I found arrow charts. And I don't know if the camera's going to pick that up, but they're used specifically for showing the change from one period to the next. Kind of like a slope chart, kind of like a dumbbell chart. And it's the kind of thing that you really can't create easily at all within Power BI. And so what I did is I went in to the practice dataset tool, and I created just a mock-up data set, and I paste that in, that just is by country, and it's 2023 and 2024 sales. And then what I did is I went into Nick's book, and I did a screenshot of the arrow chart. So let's take a look at what I did here. I just pasted in so that you don't have to watch me type poorly. So I said, for the attached data set, write the R code using ggplot2 to produce an arrow chart showing the changes, spelled changes wrong, in absolute and percentage sales by country from 2023 to 2024. Style the chart as closely as possible to the attached screenshot, use the same fonts, color, spacing, etc., and have both charts share the same y-axis labels. So, detailed, but not the kind of thing that I think anybody would have a problem writing, just based on observation. So with Sonnet, what you want to do is you want to make sure you're running the extended version when you're doing coding, and let's fire it up and see how Claude does with this. So it's going to think for a while, and what we can do is we can expand this and take a look at what it's thinking. So it's going through and analyzing the data set. It's creating the percent changes, and then it's going to start firing up the R code with ggplot2. And what I like to do is I like to test my R code in RStudio. It's a really great free IDE for R. Positron is another great one that I've talked about before that can run R and Python if you run both. And then once I've got that running in RStudio, you just drop that straight into a Power BI visual an R visual or Python visual, and it will be fully responsive to slicers, to filters, etc. And so it's just kind of going through and kind of implementing the aesthetics from the screenshot we provided. So I'm thinking it's probably going to be done pretty soon. Okay, and so it looks like it's got working R code. And let's just run to the bottom of this. Okay, it's giving us two alternatives. Let's take this one and let's go into our studio. We'll paste that in. And let's give that a run. And there we go. Let's just copy that and get that full screen. And I think that looks great. If you look at Nick's chart in the book, this looks almost identical. And so that is really all you need to do. You just take that code, vibe code it like that, run it into an R visual, and you're good to go. So I hope you found that helpful. I hope that provides some good options for you for visuals that you might otherwise not be able to use in Power BI. And as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.